Just a reminder that this is being recorded and these meditations are available on YouTube a day or two afterwards. And at the end of the session, there'll be some time for questions or reflections if there's something that you'd like to share. If anything comes up for you in the meditation, which is not unheard of, I'm more than happy to stay behind at the end of the session and discuss with you anything that's come up if you would like to. And you can always reach out to me during the week as well. So today we'll do an initial sit of a few minutes just to relax and connect with ourselves as we do every week. And then we're going to do a series of what I call light sessions. So we'll sit for 5 minutes and then we'll break for a couple of minutes. We'll sit for 5 minutes, break for a couple of minutes. The reason I like to do this occasionally is it's to give you an experience of what I call light meditation, not meditation light, and just to be in that very heightened awareness phase, not going into anything very deep or engrossing, because sometimes if you've had like a very busy or stressful week, that can actually feel quite heavy when we come out of it. So we're going to be skimming the waves, as it were. So I find the best way to approach this is that we sit for a couple of minutes, break, move around, sit, and we'll go through the session in that way. As always, we won't be visualizing with the sessions tonight. You just will be working with your breath and just being aware of that, breathing in and breathing out. Your eyes can be open or closed, whatever works for you. If you're not an experienced meditator, then having the eyes open is sometimes more beneficial, in that when the eyes are closed, we sometimes get a bit more distracted. The thoughts arise and we paint pictures around them, and we can disappear off into our own movie that we've just made in our head. But really, it doesn't matter. The classical texts will talk about, your gaze going off the end of your nose, which I always find a very uncomfortable thing. So you can I like to think of it more as the old canvas sunblinds on the window. Your gaze is going down at that sort of angle. Sometimes you'll see people meditating like this. That's a very particular meditation, but softly closed or just gazing down, or fully closed, whatever is comfortable for you. Now, in Australia right now, especially Melbourne, it's very cold. Please make sure you're not sitting in a draft and that you're well covered and supported. Make sure that your back is well supported. If you're sitting in a chair or on a couch, don't be lounging back like this. If you're sitting on the floor on a cushion, just remember to sit straight but without being rigid. And if your feet are on the ground, on a cushion is good if they don't actually reach the ground. Hopefully you've told the family to go away and leave you alone for half an hour if you're living in a house full of people, and just dedicate this time to yourself. So we'll begin by just sitting for a few minutes. But before we start, just roll the shoulders a little bit, move the head, relax your hands. Maybe you've been driving all day or on a keyboard or cooking. Anywhere where you feel you might be holding some residual tension from the day, relax your face. And then just for a couple of minutes, we're just going to be very present and aware in our body and just focus on the breath, in or out, whichever is easiest for you. Thoughts are going to come up, that's okay. Just allow them to drift off. So I won't speak through this next couple of minutes, so let's just start. Okay. So have another little move around of your body. Sometimes you find you settle down a bit more after those few moments of sitting. And then we're going to go into 5 minutes of just sitting very lightly with the breath. I'm not going to give you a visualization. We're just going to work with the breath. Now, it can be a challenge when our mind goes over into, I'm going to tell you about all the important things you should be thinking about right now. We can't ever stop ourselves thinking. That's not possible. That only happens when we're dead. But we can just not engage with those thoughts. We can just watch them arise and let them go. It takes practice. It takes practice. And every week I say the same thing. Don't judge yourself. Don't be harsh on yourself. Just be celebrating the fact that you're doing something good and kind for yourself tonight. So thoughts come up, they just drift off. They're not real anyway. If you get distracted, bring yourself to the breath. If you find you're getting distracted a lot, one thing that is helpful is to count your breaths. Count the out breaths or the in breaths, count to 7 and then start again. If you get distracted and lose your number, start again, okay? And it's quite interesting how often you will get distracted, but this is just a nice little tool to keep you back on target for just watching the breath. You can breathe through your nose or your mouth, whatever is most comfortable for you. If you're breathing through your nose, it's good to have your mouth just a little bit open. Just stops you drooling. Never a good look. All right, so couple of breaths to get going. Try and breathe down past here. We're all shallow breathers these days. Bring your breath down to your diaphragm. And this sit will sit for 5 minutes and I won't be speaking. So off we go. Just light awareness, skipping along the waves of your mind. Okay. So just come back for a few minutes. Move around. Take a few deep breaths. Make sure you haven't reclenched your hands or your belly or your face or your jaw. Shoulders are all. Make sure your posture is good. Apart from arising thoughts, when we do these lighter sessions, sometimes you're more aware than usual of your surroundings. You might notice things in the room or sounds inside your home or outside your home. But we treat those things the same way we do our thoughts arising, and just allow them to go off. One of my teachers always said, and I'm sure this was not something new, all sound is mantra. But even trying to form that thought is complicating things. So we just allow it to go. We don't write a story about the dog barking that we hear or the car coming up the drive. Who might that be? What are they doing? Just acknowledge it as a sound, a disturbance in the universe's energy that's manifesting as a sound wave. So we're going to sit for another 5 minutes. Again, I'm not going to speak. We're just going to rest our breath and our awareness very lightly so that we're very present and aware, but in a relaxed, meditative state. Okay. Okay. Everybody come back to me for the moment. And again, we're going to move around a little bit. On the right neck, shoulders. Check in with your belly, with your feet. Sometimes we hold our feet very tight. Just checking that you're not cold, those of you who are in freezing Melbourne tonight. We chill very quickly when we're sitting still. And now just take a couple of breaths. And once more, we're going to go into our last session. We're holding the awareness very lightly, focusing on the breath. And just adjusting my timer here. Just staying very present and aware, but in a very balanced state of meditative equipoise, if you will, or just in a state of awareness and relaxation. A couple of breaths to get going. Okay. Time to come back. Take a few breaths. Become very conscious of how you're feeling. Hopefully feel light and good. If anyone has any questions or anything they'd like to share, feel free to unmute yourself. If you're asleep, stay asleep, and I'll catch you next week.